Healthy at Home with Bobbi Jansen.
Hi everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you're ready to get moving. So here, I want to start you off with some fun facts. There are over 600 muscles in the human body. One of the longest muscles is the sartorius muscle, which is in the back of your thigh, but your tongue is also one of the longest muscles. So there's just some fun facts to get you started. What we're going to be focusing on today is a couple of muscles, well, a lot of muscles, but some of them are going to be done in reverse. This just changes up the way they're trained and the muscles they target. So we're going to focus on all of the legs. We're going to focus on the forearms and wrists. So my white cane handlers or guide dog handlers, this is really going to help to build that forearm strength because they're usually quite weak muscles. Your core, and your core is your entire abdominal all the way around to your back, and we're going to be doing that in reverse. So make sure you have a nice open space in which you can exercise. If you have four-legged friends, get them out of the way so that you're not tripping over them. You can grab a bottle or a glass of water, keep that handy, making sure it's somewhere that you don't end up wearing it partway through the workout. And we will see you after the break to get warmed up.
Healthy at Home with Bobbi Jansen. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Healthy at Home with Bobbi Jansen.
All right, everyone, we are going to get moving. So this very first part of our warm-up, so our warm-up always comes before we start a series of exercises to prepare the body. But this first one can be done seated. I'm going to do it standing, but if you wish to be seated, this is a great one that you can do anywhere. All right, so I am standing with my feet hip distance apart. Everything is in a nice long line like a stack of Legos or a stack of blocks. You don't want anything out of whack, otherwise it kind of tips to one side. Your neck is long, so think of bringing your chin slightly down. So we're going to make half circles with our head. We never go backwards on this, so I'm going to take my right ear to my right shoulder, then I'm going to roll my head down towards my chin, down towards my chest, and my left ear towards my left shoulder, making a half circle. We're going to go back down towards the right, around and through. So half head circles. This one always feels so good. Back down, draw it through towards the left, drop it back down, roll it through towards the right. Get that good stretch, relax your shoulders down and roll it back through, down towards the left. One more time. We're going to finish in the center. So drop your chin down, roll it through to the center and bring your head back to what we call neutral, so your central position. So from here, we're going to do a march if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, we're gonna start stepping things up a little bit, okay? So you can just march on the spot, lifting your knees, marching on the spot, okay? Otherwise, I'm gonna slow it down here so I can talk. You have a big, fat, ugly, lazy snake, and it is at your left side. So it's running lengthways. You're gonna hop over it to the side. So we're gonna start with one foot, then the other. So I'm gonna go over this giant, ugly snake, left foot, stepping it to the side, right foot, bringing it over to the side. So I've come over this ugly snake. Now I got to go back over with my right, follow with my left. Now you can pick this up, right, left, hop back over, right, left. If you're really feeling on top of your game and your balance is pretty good, you can hop with both feet back and forth, which is what I'm going to do now. Otherwise, continue with the other variation. So I'm hopping with both feet over this ugly snake, and hopefully I'm not touching it because yuck. Side to side, keep jumping. Are you touching that snake? I really hope not. We're gonna do one more each side. And you can just shake it out a little bit. So I'm shaking out my legs. Good. So now I am going to do what we call butt kicks. I'm going to kick my butt with my heel. So bending my leg, kicking backwards, bringing my heel towards my butt. Imagine kicking yourself in the butt cheek. My left, now with my right. So you can stay just simply almost marching, kicking yourself in the butt, or you can bring it into a jog or a run, okay? That's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick it up. Those heels are going towards my butt. If they don't kick yourself in the butt for real, that's okay. And 3, 2, 1, good. Grab a drink if you need. We're gonna go into an exercise I have struggled with for 20 years, but it is a very fundamental exercise for the legs. This is done standing, so I'm just going to turn to the side so you have a better view of what I am about to do. So this is the lunge, and it's going to train your core and all the muscles of your legs and your butt. So if you have balance issues, you can start off with having a chair at your left side with the back facing you, facing your left hip. You can place your hand on there for balance, okay? You don't want to put it in front of you or you're going to hit your knee. Don't get frustrated with this because, like I said, I've been working on this for 20 years. Because my vision is low, my balance is a bit off, and sometimes it's frustrating, but that also makes it one of the exercises I love the most. So I'm going to take a big step back with my right foot directly behind me. Okay, so I'm in a nice wide stance. I'm going to come onto the ball of the back foot. Okay, so my toes are pointing forward. Now, this is where things get a little tricky. So you're gonna have to go from head to toe. I want you to think of that nice stack of Legos from your head to your hips. And we're basically gonna drop the body down. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna bend my front leg to 90 degrees. I'm bending the knee. I have to make my stance a little wider. Bend that front leg to 90. And I'm gonna drop my body down towards the floor, bending that back leg towards the floor. Now, you don't want your knee going over your toes. Now, how do you check this? I'm gonna slide my hand down my leg to my kneecap and then down my shin. And that's on your left leg. It should feel parallel. If my knee is going quite a bit over, I'll feel my knee go over my shin. So it's slightly over, I'm gonna adjust back. I'm gonna come back up. And this is a stationary lunge. I mean, see, there goes my balance. Meaning we're not going to switch legs or do a walking lunge. So we're going to repeat this. We're going to see if we can do this 5 more times. So dropping it down, 5, body straight down, come back up. Your neck is nice and long, your core is long. At the top, squeeze your butt muscles. 4, drop it down. 3, I'm shaky. You're gonna go down as far as is comfortable until that front leg is at 90 and your back knee might touch the floor and it might not. 2 and 1. Come all the way back up, step it back to center. Now my left side is typically my wobbly side. So if you're using your chair to place your hand on, you're gonna switch it to your right side and we're gonna work on the right side. I'm going to turn completely around so there's a better view if anybody is looking at my alignment. And I'm going to take a big step back with my left leg this time. Okay, take a nice wide stance. Now, lots of times you're going to try and pitch forward. You don't want to do that. So bring your body nice and tall, straight up and down. Belly is tight. I'm going to go onto the ball of that back foot. I'm gonna bend my front leg to 90, dropping my body straight down, bending the back knee. Now your hands, if you're not hanging onto the chair, the slower I go, the harder this is. You can have them on your hips, you can have your palms at your heart, pressing each other. You can have them straight out in front. It's gonna be whatever works for you for right now, okay? So bending that front leg, dropping the body down, bending the back knee, almost touching the floor, and back up. Bending that front leg, drop it down. We got 4 more. Try and straighten those legs. Drop it down. 4, 3, drop it down and up. 2 more. Woo! 2 and up and back down and up. And you can step the feet together. Now that was, for me, that's pretty tough and it's been my challenge, but also a great joy. We're gonna make it a little harder. Stick with what you were doing the first time and you're gonna do 3 to one side and 3 to the other, or I'm gonna alternate legs. So I'm just gonna change my body position again. Go slow and don't be frustrated. Okay, so step the right leg back. You're gonna go onto the ball of that back foot, drop it down, your body straight down, knees almost touching the floor, come up, step it in. Left leg back, ball of the foot, bend the front leg, bend the back knee, drop your body down, step it in. I'm gonna do 1 more to each side because that's what I've got in me today. Right leg back, because this is a challenge for me, as I said. Follow the back foot. Now we're making that front knee come to a 90-degree angle, dropping the body straight down, back knee is bent and up, and one more. I'm curious to know if you guys have one side of the body that is a little less stable than the other. So switching legs, drop it down and back up. Good job. Okay, so we're gonna move into the forearms. We're gonna do this in reverse. Come to standing, feet are hip distance apart, but guess what? You can do this sitting. So if you wish, this is one of those exercises that can be done sitting. Your arms are down at your sides, body is nice and tall. Your abdominals are engaged. So if I poke you in the belly button, this area is all nice and firm. Okay? Now I want you to make fists with your hands and turn your hands facing the front, in front of you, the front wall. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my elbows, keeping my elbows glued at my ribs, bend them slightly, and I'm going to curl my wrists towards me. Okay, so I'm bending at that wrist, curling the wrists, bringing your knuckles towards your nose without moving your arms. Those elbows are bent and they're glued at your sides. Towards your nose and release them back down. Towards your nose, bring them back down. So it's like reverse of starting a dirt bike. Your hands are underneath instead of over top. Back down. In and back down. Let's go for two more. Forearms are typically in and back down, pretty weak. Last one, in and back down. Let it go, shake it out. So you don't want to overdo it. We're gonna do that again. Hands at your sides, make fists, rotate your arms. So the inside of the fists or your palms are facing that wall in front of you. Bend the elbows slightly, keep them glued to your ribs. Now I'm gonna curl the wrists in. You should feel this like a stretch in your forearms, and knuckles go away. Knuckles towards your face, knuckles away. So bending at the wrists, releasing them down. You've got a bag of groceries in each hand. You're gonna curl those groceries up, higher up off the floor, release them down, bring them up, release them down. One more time, up, and release them down. Okay, shake out your hands. That can be done with very light weights, but I can already feel this one, and I haven't had to use any weights. You're gonna feel it within your forearms, helping to strengthen those wrists. So my cane hand, which is my right hand, takes quite a beating, and it helps to have that forearm strengthened. I'm gonna come down to the floor, so please do so very slowly. We're gonna come to laying on our back. I feel like I'm a little bit off kilter here. All right, so your knees are bent and you're gonna lie flat on the floor with your feet on the floor, knees bent. If you have a ponytail in, you can go ahead and remove that. I'm gonna slide mine down. So this is a reverse crunch. We're gonna start off with, there's normally a space that happens when you lay down between your back and the floor, the back and the mat. Imagine, place your hands on your bellies or your belly or your hips and relax. Think of melting into the mat or the floor, reducing that space, never force it. Your head is gonna be in line with your neck, nod your chin towards your chest like you've got a big juicy Christmas orange, because those are my favorite. Your abs are tight, as if I were to drop something on your belly. This actually does happen in my house when my grandson's playing and I'm on the floor. He's dropped stuff on my belly. So firm up that tummy. You're gonna take your hands, palms flat on the floor. Okay, they're at your side. Slip them under each one of your butt cheeks. Sounds like a lot already. Lift your feet up off the floor. Your feet are gently pointed. Your knees are bent. They're at 90 degrees. If you're feeling a lot in your lower back, you're just gonna extend those legs a little more. So instead of 90, they're opening up a little wider to a bigger angle. So a reverse crunch, we're going to lift our hips up off the ground and crunch our knees towards our body. You want to make sure you're using your abs to do this. So using my stomach nice and tight, I'm going to bring my knees in towards me and lift my hips up, and with control put them back down. So it's like a crunch but backwards. Let's do it again. Up and back down. Make sure you're breathing up, lifting it up, bring it back down. And do you have 3 more? I bet you do. So watch those shoulders, keep them relaxed down the back. 3 and down. 2 and down, and 1 more. Up and back down. Whew. Let your feet relax on the floor, keeping your knees bent, because guess what? We've got another set of these bad boys. So if you can see what I'm doing, I have my head slightly to the side. If not, please don't follow what I do. Do what I say, not what I'm doing, because I want your head completely in line. That keeps our vertebrae nice and in line. But I want to just reset here now. Whew. All right, lifting those feet off the floor. Your legs are at 90, your feet are gently pointed, your hands are palms flat on the floor at your sides. Now you're gonna bring each one of your hands under your butt cheek, palms flat. Abs are tight, because if your abs are not engaged before we start, your hips start doing the work, and they are much weaker than your abdominal muscles. So you're gonna think of bringing your knees in and up. So towards your face, hips come up off the floor, and back down to the starting position, and up, and back down. Kind of like doing a little butt lift. Up, and back down. Press those arms firmly into the ground. Up, and back down. Up, and back down. And one more. Up, and back down. Put your feet on the floor. Let everything completely relax here. All right, we're gonna do a third set, and your abs should be on fire. All right, so I've noticed my shoulders are kind of creeping up towards my ears, so I'm sliding my shoulders back, down my back. So what that means is putting them in their original position, bringing them down away from your ears. It takes the tension out of the neck. Sliding your hands underneath your butt, bringing your legs to 90, your feet are up off the floor. Your toes are gently pointed. This one's gonna take my breath away. So get ready, reset, your head's in line. Use your stomach, bring it in and up, lower down, in and up, and down, and up, and down. And we have 3 to go. You've got this. And 3, and down, and 2, woo, and down, and 1 more. Use control on that down. We don't want it just dropping down. And put your feet on the floor. Good job, everybody. So we're gonna do our cool down in this lying down position. So grab some water and join me after the break to get stretched out, because you've earned it.
Healthy at Home with Bobbi Jansen. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Healthy at Home with Bobbi Jansen.
All right, we're gonna cool down from the position we were in from our reverse crunches. So I am laying on the floor, feet flat on the floor, knees are bent, my legs are about hip distance apart. We are going to stretch. And this is, I won't lie, my favorite part after a great workout. So I'm going to take my left knee, I'm gonna bend, my leg is bent, I'm gonna hug my left knee into my chest. So lifting my leg, keeping that knee bent, think of hugging it in towards your chest. My fingers are gonna go onto, this is gonna depend. So you can place your fingers and your hands palm side down on your shin, or you can grab underneath your thigh. What feels best? What gives you the best stretch? And think of hugging that knee into your chest. This reminds me of when my kids were little and they had gassy stomachs. We would bring their knees into their chest. So that's kind of the movement we're doing, but 1 leg at a time. So hugging that left leg in. Now I'm gonna put my foot flat on the floor. I'm gonna do the same motion with my right leg. So keeping that knee bent, bringing my knee into my chest, either placing my hands on the top of my shin or behind my thigh and pulling that knee gently in towards the chest. Giving it a good squeeze. You're gonna feel this possibly in your hip flexor, which is the bend in the front crease of your hip. That's where that muscle lies. Possibly in your back and your leg. Put the foot down. Now we're gonna do both legs at the same time. So lift both legs up, keeping your knees bent, and either grab underneath the thighs, so behind your legs, or onto the tops of the shins, and hug those knees in. Mine are a little bit, my hips are a bit tight, so I don't have much of a hug today. So you'll notice some days your flexibility might be a little better than others. Hugging those knees in. Now, if you want, you can gently rock from side to side. I think of like a jelly bean on its side rolling. So I'm just rolling gently just from side to side, a little bit of a rock from hip to hip, just slight rock on the floor, because that feels good along the spine. It's like a little spine massage. Place your feet flat on the floor, and we're slowly gonna come up to a seated position. Okay, because I'm gonna have you flip around onto your belly. So I'm coming up slowly and I'm going to flip around to lying flat on my belly. Extending my legs away, tops of the feet are down. So just lay flat on your belly. So you can extend your arms out so they're in front of me on the floor, palms flat. Now usually what happens when we lay down on the floor, we lift our head and neck up and our neck kind of kinks. So think of your neck being long and in line with the spine. I want you to walk your right hand over towards the left so it's reaching across the body on the floor towards the left arm. And if this is enough stretch here, please stay here. If you want to intensify the stretch, I'm going to take my left hand and cross it. I'm going to start at the wrist, cross it on top of my right. You can rest your forehead on the mat. I'm going to keep my face off the mat so you can hear me. So you're making an X with your arms. If you don't feel much, you can bring that X tighter in, so making the cross higher up your arms. You don't want to feel any pinching or pain, just a stretch. Okay, so let's release from this movement and switch the cross of our arms. Bringing the left arm towards the right, crossing the body, right arm over top of the left, making an X with your arms or a cross. Relax your head and neck. Now, think of gripping the floor with your hands, your palms, and just gently getting what we call traction. So it's a little bit of a pull, like you're becoming long from your fingertips to your toes. And release. Good job, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you got a good workout. Stay moving and stay motivated, and until next time, see you soon.
Host, Bobbi Jansen. Video production, Honeycut Studios. Integrated Described Video Specialist, M. Williams. Content Development Specialist, Jim Crisco. Supervising Producer, Jennifer Johnson. Director, Production, Karen I. VP, Content Development and Programming, John Melville. President and CEO, David Arrington. Copyright 2022, AMI Accessible Media Inc.
An AMI original production.